Chapter 15. The Storm. When they arrived back home, the eastern sky was darker than the storms of late July. Red said to Clancy, "It's a hurricane! Board up all the windows for wind and rain!" While Rose was busy boarding up the bays to insulate the wagon, mules, and hay, Red set his rifle down and ran to her. He blocked his eyes as wind and dust were stirred. Rose said, "You picked a lovely day for hunting. And let me guess, y'all ain't shot us nothing." "Keep shooting off that mouth and you can bet my rifle's bound to shoot me something yet." Rose said, "I'll do the hunting. Least we'll eat." While heading to the coop with hurried feet, she jerked a broody hen for chicken soup. Then Clancy nailed the latch to lock the coop. A gust of wind made Red hold down his hat and ask of Clancy, "Are you done with that?" He answered, "Yes, sir." "Best we get inside," to which young Clancy happily complied. The wind that whistled through the house's walls was bending branches over shuttered stalls, and Boone was barking till a thunderclap frightened him to whine in Clancy's lap. "You're plumb too big for this," he said to Boone, while shoving him. "Get off, you big buffoon!" Clancy pushed him back onto the floor as thunder rumbled louder than before. Then Boone, with jowls splayed upon the ground, looked up resembling a weepy clown. He whimpered through his nose to vent his fright. The storm clouds made the day as dark as night. Above their roof the cracking glass of thunder was like a mason jar that broke asunder, spilling raindrop marbles, clacking hard on wood and splashing puddles in the yard. Both Red and Rose began to place the pots upon the floor within their usual spots, to catch the drips that streamed like strings of beads. The clicking pots began to fill with speed. Rose said, "I reckon that I ought to sleep out with them mules, 'cause least that roof don't leak. You think that Noah waited for the flood to fix the goldern roof above?" "If Noah had a wife that nagged him sore, she'd find herself a-swimming for the shore, 'cause Noah would 'a' throwed her off the deck. How long before the water reach her neck?" "Ain't trying to nag you, Red, just sayin's all," he said. "Well, don't. My wounds don't need no salt." The two were silent, wise in their restraint, as whipping winds were slinging sheets of rain. Rose asked Red, "You think we'll lose some trees?" "I reckon we's had worser winds than these. We might lose one, but hoping nothing more." "It seems these winds is worser than before. Too bad we's going to lose that fresh bouquet. A storm like this'll blow 'em all away." "Bouquet? What bouquet you talking about?" "The one you left at Jake's. Store-bought, no doubt," the man replied, confused. "Tarnation, woman! You figure your old man is off his cushion? I reckon you must think I's pretty thick to store-buy flowers I could go and pick." Rose replied, "Well, if them flowers free, how come you never fetch a grip for me?" "Well, I done picked my rose when I picked you. I'll fetch you flowers once this storm blows through," she said. "Oh, that'll be the day, Macree. If you ain't leaving 'em, it'd probably be. They's purty lilies, too. A shame they blown." She sure did love that Jake, as if her own. Red tossed a pot of water straight and strong and said, "Ain't been to Jake's. Don't know how long." Rose heaved the water back onto the earth and said, "His death hurt worser than his birth." The three Macrees were lugging pots like pails and tossed the water out into the gales, like deckhands working on a sinking boat whose bailing buckets kept the ship afloat. As Boone was lapping up the water spilled from sloshing pots that had been overfilled, his tail was wagging like this all was play, He couldn't grasp that he was in the way. A yelp from Boone made Clancy turn his head. Surmising eyes could clearly see that Red had kicked the dog. So Rose said, "Red Macree." The man replied, "He just about stumbled me." Red grunted as he tossed the water out, while Clancy scowled and Rose turned up her snout. Her tone was clear. The woman disapproved. "Don't have to kick the dog. Just tell him move." "A dog don't learn by what a man explains, but he'll remember what done caused him pain. So now he learnt a boot is what he'll meet each time I find him milling under feet." The boy, who felt himself about to cry, had never given Red a cross reply, but stood his ground, as if they both were men. He said, "You's just the same as Dowdy, then. To kick the dog ain't different than the whip." Clancy could feel a quiver in his lip. Red stiffened like he had a steel rod spine, and Clancy saw his words had crossed a line. So Rose said, "Don't you talk to Pa that way." His pa replied, "No, Rose. No, it's okay. He's talking like a man, and I respect it. But still, it's coming sooner than expected." He stayed controlled and set the pot in place, as Clancy shielded Boone in an embrace. The drips in pots were like a ticking clock, collecting seconds until Red would talk. Then he stood tall and said, "Now hear me, son, 'cause you could say I was just like anyone, but not like Dowdy. No, we ain't the same, and saying so is quite a hurtful claim." Clancy saw the man was yelping too, and the comparison had been the boot. But Red continued on. "When Dowdy whips you, it's out of meanness, happy that he hit you. And he feels big to make you shrink with fear. But that ain't what I done. And ain't that clear?" "Why kick him, Pa? That awful mean to do." "It's same for why I lift my hand to you. It's same for why your mama grabs the spoon. It's same for why you must be firm with Boone. If that's your dog, that means that he belong to you, and you must teach him right from wrong. But it'll bring no joy to swat the thing. With every hit, it's you that feels the sting. But knowing your dog is good will bring you joy. That's why you discipline your dog. And boy, think Dowdy cares what man that you become? He only cares that you stay 'neath his thumb." Red bent to grab another pot that filled. No drop was lost. He snatched it strong and skilled. He tossed the water out into the rain, then said, below the porch's overhang, "And son, there's one more thing to know about me. I never once did nothing to be mean." Throughout the stormy night the tempest passed. Some pecan trees were downed in soggy grass. Their broken, twisted roots in unearthed sod were desperate, reaching hands that cried for God. The few remaining trees that stood with wear were stripped of pecans nearly shaken bare. The chocolate-colored nuts were scattered far and stuck in mud like turtle shells in tar. This did not stop those pesky scavenger squirrels who filled their cheeks with nutty precious pearls, while crows were cracking open shells for treats. When Boone approached, they scattered in retreat. Walking through the mud were the Macrees, with rolled-up pant legs just below their knees. Red's hat was off as if he mourned the dead. To see the storm's destruction hung his head. He turned to them, his hat held at his chest, as if to give a eulogy address. "I don't know what to do, or what to say. You reckon life's supposed to be this way? Just scraping by? Can't hardly call it living. I hate to say it, but I feel like giving up. He paused. Ain't right. Just stuck. Stuck in the lot 18 of life. Rose gently touched his muscly arm that hung, to hold his hand the way she once had done. She said, We's been through worser things than this. I still your sweetie girl. You still my prince. Oh, sorry, sweetie girl. I know this ain't the house and orchard and the purty gate I promised you out on that summer lawn. Your princess had a fight. Can't go on. The red Macree I know is full of grit. Life may give him lumps, but he don't quit. And even if we had to sell this place and go get jobs, the Lord would show us grace. He said, Could never sell my daddy's land. God rest his soul, but he would understand. Would not. And I could even hear him say, This land'll be your son's son someday. Plus, who'd buy this gold-earned shack and empty trees, with half 'em downed, with roots pulled up like weeds? And only townies give the jobs, but then they own you, like they done them other men. Rose replied, They say that fabric mill will need some 20 workers once it built. I'd rather wear a dress and dance ballet than earn a dime by working for Macree. I'd pay a dime to see it, Rose replied. I'd pay a dime to not, Clancy cried. Red said, Y'all can keep your dimes, but still, ain't none of us working in that fabric mill. Pa's right, said Rose. It probably a mistake to work for Finn Macree like done our Jake. Red looked around the acreage in dismay, and as if to himself began to say, This crop is lost for harvest come November. Whatever done grow back will be too tender. Them pecans we got stored can't get us by. He scratched his beard and stumbled. Then Clancy interrupted. I can work. I reckon not as no one's business clerk. Y'all know I be handy, good with tools, and it no secret I ain't much for school. I bet you Doc would double up my pay if I come by to help him every day. But Rose replied, Nice try. You gotta go to school. There's lots for you still yet to know. He got more schooling than I ever got. His schooling is his ticket out this lot. But, Mama, I just want to do my share and help the family. Figure it's only fair. It's time for manning up and paying dues. Just setting there in school, I ain't no use. She said to them, Ain't none y'all be quittin'. You work this summer and I'll sell my knitting, and Pa will work on fixing the plantation. But come September, it's back to education. Yes, ma'am. Then Red announced, Let's go to Doc. High time that him and me done had a talk. My sweetie girl, will you wrap up a pie? And boy, go feed them mules a block of rye, then gear 'em up and bring 'em both round. Let's see how bad the storm hit 'em in town. Yes, sir. His shoulders widened, standing up. I's here to help you, Pa. I's manning up. Red said, And son, I know I ride you rough, but you're a good boy. I don't say it enough. Though Red said boy, still Clancy took the praise. His father felt a nudge upon his legs, and saw the hound who tapped Red with his paw, to show the man what he caught in his jaw. A squirrel was laying limply in his mouth, and once the man looked down, Boone dropped it out, like saying that he'd help the family through. Red grinned and said, And you's a good boy, too.